I will probably start crying when I say this, but the next thing I would say, the biggest change and most important change is the growth of our community. And not in numbers, but in expectation of their students and children.
Here with another episode of our Above the Bar, where we highlight members of our educational community for being above the bar. Today we have Miss Teresa Potter, Rio Rico high school teacher. So with that, Miss Potter, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, wow. Well, I've been teaching for 25 years. I started teaching at the high school the second year it was open. It was my first year teaching, and everything was brand new. So I mean, I had to, as a brand new teacher, had to come up with curriculum, etc. So it's just building everything from scratch, and really became very invested in, Rio Rico High School is my home. I lived here in the Valley since 1982. I raised 3 children. They went to our district pre-K 12, and I just always love to say this because all 3 of my children were very successful at the U of A, and they are a 100% product of our district, and it has served them well. And especially as they have gone on, they have been very appreciative of the diversity of our district, and they have found that those things that they've learned with that has just really helped them be successful. So the district has served us well.
That's great to hear. So 25 years, and you are finally making the decision to retire. Disappointing us, but so in those 25 years, you mentioned that your kids have gone through the district. What are some of the changes that you've seen in those 25 years?
Oh my goodness. Well, the high school had, I believe it was 110 students when I started, and now we're over 1,200. There you go.
Yeah.
And I will probably start crying when I say this, but the next thing I would say, the biggest change and most important change is the growth of our community. And not in numbers, but in expectation of their students and children. What was very frustrating for me, my first 5 years, if not more, but especially those first 5 years, I would see very smart young ladies who were totally capable of going on to college and should have. And they didn't, because their family wouldn't let them leave home. And that always broke my heart. And I could say and I mean, when I would have girls come and talk to me and just, share those concerns with me, and and they knew they couldn't get past that. But what's cool is those same girls are mothers of students I now have or have had, and that is not an issue anymore. In fact, I don't ever hear that anymore, where the expectation is, yes, you are going to college. And so for me personally, as an educator, that change in the community culture has been significant and important, and I just applaud the community for that growth.
Well, that's great to hear it. And I know you were one of our teachers that was recognized for AP being the National AP School District of the Year. And so I know part of that increase in opportunity for our students was part of the AP program, allowing them to experience some rigorous classwork, knowing that they can not only compete at the high school level, but then they can go on and do that at the collegiate level or whatever avenue they wanted to pursue. So with that, receiving that honor, how did that make you feel as a teacher, knowing that you've been in this district for that period of time and watching not only the district grow, but the AP program grow?
Wow. I mean, I don't know what words to say, to be honest. It was such an honor and quite frankly, a surprise because we're just in the trenches, you know. All of a sudden, we're told we're going to get this award. I mean, we didn't see it coming. And again, I'm going to say it goes back to our community's growth because without the support of the parents, because it's hard to watch your child struggle. And you're going to struggle, especially in the AP class course I teach. I mean, it's rigorous. It's really rigorous. And the fact that students, that not only are we teaching AP, but our students are achieving. And that comes from, it only begins with the teacher. I don't know if begins is the right word, but without that support from home, because students need that support from their parents. And they're getting it in whatever that way that is needed. You know, all we can do is provide and help structure things for success, but you know, the rubber meets the road late at night, you know, at home. So I'm just so proud of the growth. You know, I think it was just an indication of the growth of, I guess I keep saying that, but I mean, it's just, our community has grown. And I heard, I think it's my first or second year teaching, that when a district gets a high school that hasn't had one, there's tremendous growth in that district because of the high school. And I've certainly seen that, and it's very true. So it's been nice to be a part of that and see that growth of the community. It's wonderful.
Well, that's great. So you're again now retiring. You know, happy for you, but unfortunate for us. So what are some of the plans that you have now that you're going to be retiring?
Well, I'm a perpetual student and I'm studying all the time with my job, but I would really like to pursue some of my personal things that I would like to pursue. But I have a little side business of organic homemade wellness things, handmade wellness products and things. I really want to grow that. Just, I've got some volunteer work I'd like to do with my church, and just some other horizons, mainly, to be honest, for my health. I give, like the students, I give a lot. And to be honest, the decision is because of my health.
So what are you going to miss the most about coming to school every day? Which, I mean, I know it's been a different year this year anyway,
Right.
but what are you going to miss most about coming to school every day?
That connection with students, you know, even though it has been limited, I've still been able to have that, which has been good. But, you know, just that connection with students, and, you know, they just have a different take on things. And I love being a part of their growth. And unfortunately, usually it's me trying to maintain that high level. And, you know, it's not usually because they love me because I'm so wonderful to them. You know, it's because they know the rigor that they know they need, and they appreciate that. And I think they mostly get that I'm giving it all I have for them. You know.
So I've asked you a lot about your favorite things. What would be one memory that you'll never forget? Because I know when teachers retire, there's so many. But is there one thing that you know, you think back and you really is just a memory that will never leave you?
Well, there's actually a lot of them that all go back to the same subject, and that is every year students have chosen me as their most outstanding educator, or what, most influential educator. And that means the most to me, because that's why I'm here. And so it's just that getting, I covet that award, quite frankly, because it comes from kids. I have plenty of other prestigious awards. They don't mean anything like these do to me. And to know that kids see that the value in what I'm doing for them, it just, there's nothing that compares to that.
Yeah, I know that that's always a special event that, you know, we have in the spring, you know, with our top 5%, and you know, them getting to recognize their most influential teacher. And I know you've been there quite a few times, so it's you know, it is a very special award because it is, you know, student driven, you know, and I think that that's one of the things that our district, at least in the last, you know, few years, has really been a shift in focusing and making sure that it's more student driven, and that's definitely one award that I think is probably the most prestigious, if not one of the most prestigious, just because of where it comes from.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that. So any advice that you have for new teachers coming in, you know, being a veteran teacher with success, and an influential teacher with students, and any advice that you have for future either teachers or new teachers coming into the profession?
Well, you gotta love the kids. I mean, I don't know how you, the job is so challenging, you know, unless you're really there, if your heart's not there to do literally all that you can for the kids, I don't know how you can stay in the profession, I'll be honest with you. So you've got to make sure your heart is right, and that, quite frankly, every decision I make is what am I really teaching the kids? There's one thing, there's a surface level of a request, and then there's the underlying, what are you really teaching them as a result? Because they come to me asking for a lot of different things. Sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no. And I always gauge every single answer based on, is this what's best for this student? What is it really teaching them? By doing what they ask, is it going to enable them to go to the next step, or is it going to keep them down by what's the word? By just giving in to them. Because they look at you with those eyes, you know, and you want to say yes to everything, and you got to see what's it really going to teach them. And you know, and so really,
yeah, and I think that that's a great message for teachers of you know, understanding why you joined this profession. You know, we definitely, although pay has increased, I'm sure over the years, it's still not what really is the value of the profession. You know, I think that that's the one thing that, you know, teachers that receive that award every year, you know, there's a few of you that it seems like you're there every year, the influential teacher. You know, it's because of the connection, you know, and the influence that you have, not only in the coursework, but for what they're doing in the future. And so I commend you for that. And I think that that's great advice for not only current teachers, but future, you know, new teachers as well. So I know we asked a lot of things about, you know, what you're doing, but as a district, what do you think you would like to recommend for us as a district? Because I know you are part of our community. And so you see a lot of the changes that have happened within our community. What would you recommend for our district to continue to move in the right direction?
You got to keep the standards and expectations high. I've honestly had a little bit of a concern. I hope I can say this right, since this whole COVID everything, trust me, I get the stress. I mean, but I think we have rightfully so been very conscious of stress load on everyone, and the district has been very good for teachers and students, I think. I mean, really taking that in consideration and not just verbally. But we've got to be careful, not just during COVID times, but going forward, that in trying to care for our students, that we don't lower expectations in a way that they may not be adequately prepared for the next level. And then and the only reason why I say this, because I meditate that every day, because it's like, how do I push them the least to take the load off as much as I can, but not so much that they're not going to be prepared for the next level. And that's a really fine line. And when you hear it, I know what my students are doing outside of class by how they come back in the next day. And some of them, I'm like, I'm sorry, but I teach AP chemistry. It's the animal, guys, but we've got to be careful that we are always keeping expectation to the level that they can be prepared for the next, and that there is a trend of, yes, we're concerned about mental health, but we also don't grow without challenge. And an athlete doesn't become a better athlete by running the mile in 15 minutes every day. So, we need to keep that, I think, as a kind of litmus test.
Yeah, and I think that this whole interview is an example of that, and the title of it is Above the Bar, and that's so we want every day to move above that standard. So I think that's also great advice, and appreciate you sharing that with us. Any other things that you'd like to share as you retire? And we're not looking forward to that. We want to keep you as long as we can. So
I appreciate that. All I can say is I love this community. I love you, and just thank you for letting me be part of this community. I can't talk anymore.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and we wish you an above the bar retirement in all of your endeavors, and thank you for all of your years of not just service, but just being a big part of the success of Rio Rico High School and our community, for all your contributions. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Verdugo. Thank you.